Okay, now let's proceed, class, to the last portion of video, which is how to make your histograms. So let's start with how to make your histogram. So for histogram, class, we simply use the data before in our what you call this, frequency distribution table. So you can select this one, class. Then you can insert, then recommended charts. Then you have your all charts. Have this one actually. Then you can have this one. Okay, this is actually uh, at least a histogram looking output. Then you simply click OK. Okay, then this is simply drag this away here, and you simply then edit the title and the things. Um, then yes, may ara na din siya grid options, the solid lines, no lines. With ara na din siya join, begin and arrow type. Ara na din siya dapat option, class, na wala siya dapat space. You should edit actually the space between the lines. Dapat wala na siya space between. So if you can move this one, please do so. Not too sure if you can move this one. Okay, series overlap. And yes, or can have that one as 0%. Okay, so this is now your histogram, class. Okay, so have data labels. And select everything, data labels you want. Okay, so this is now your histogram. Have that one. So much easier since you already have a frequency distribution table. The next is your we have now your relative frequency distribution, our relative frequency distribution table. Sorry. Let's have now your how to make your relative frequency histogram, since we are now on histograms. Then let's just close this one. Okay, so this is now your histogram, class. You can just work around with the labels later. You can just simply change that one to whatever you need. And for relative frequency histogram, class, of course, you need to use your relative frequency. Again, you simply select your plus and then the relative frequency. And then insert chart. You can have this one. Okay, then you simply click OK. Okay. You click your series. Okay, so our highest value here is 0.4, so that's 0.4. But then of course, ang pagpasunod, same. Then of course, you simply edit as we did with your values earlier. Na 2. Wala siya gagwa. And then have options, and of course the transparency is so double click ko to siya class ha. And the gap width, okay, and if you want may ara gap gamay, whatever works as long as dapat wala gid siya actually, di ba? It's a frequency this, it's a histogram, so dapat wala gid man na spaces. Okay, and of course if you want to change the color of this one, you can always do so. Mga boring nga mga change colors, colorful. I don't know why it's not changing colors, but you can just play with that later. Okay. Okay, so this is now your relative frequency histogram. So this is now your classes, and this is now your frequencies. Okay, so it should follow also your frequency distribution table. Okay, so this is now your relative frequency histogram. Okay, so if side by side mo na siya class sa imo nga histogram, almost the same, same na sila dapat actually. Ang lain lang gid is ang labels. Ina to. Okay, para kung gap. This is 0. Okay, tapos mo iyaya nga side. Tapos ang sa aton histogram, ang iyaya nga label is 0 to 12. Ang sa imo ya 0 to 0.45 or 0 to 1, 0 to 1 if mo na ang available. So you can also do that. Okay, so that's for your relative frequency histogram. Then how to make a frequency polygon class. Okay, so for the frequency polygon in one class, you make use of your frequency class midpoint and actually the frequency. Okay, so let's do that. So insert. Actually, simply need a. Actually, you can use class a combo chart for this. Let's use a combo chart for this. Let's select two series. So you have your class frequency and the cumulative. And let's use your combo. And the first one is for the frequency. Let's have your this one. Then for the CM, let's have a stacked line column. Hmm? Or actually, you can also have this one. Ah, tala. Ang frequency gali is a line. Okay. And we cannot use this one actually gali class because this is the class midpoint, diba? Position niya man ang na duha dapat ang frequency. Frequency lang na siya gali kag this one. So let's just use a line graph. Nakalipat yung kisa. Line. And so this is a frequency distribution table. Oops. Or if you want class, you can. Let's delete this one. Since nagamit man ta sang midpoint, you can actually use the midpoint. So you can have the class midpoint actually and the frequency, okay, for your one. Then you simply insert the align graph. Okay. Then chart options. Baliktad man na. Ah, okay, should go work. Okay, so let's just stick with this one, and then you insert this one using your line graph. But you can use your class midpoint class for vertical major axis grid line. So you just play along with that one. So that's actually also possible. Okay, so close this one. Pagamayun tani. Oops, sorry. Can have this one. Okay, this is now the frequency polygon. And if you want to compare this one with your histogram, then you can actually place this over here. Pwede mo na siya overlay. So, if you want to overlay class, you simply duplicate the frequency table and you can place them side by side. So, you can do that. Okay. Then, lastly, we have your ogives. Okay. So, for the ogive, less than ogive, and the greater than or more than ogives. Okay. So, for this one, we use your greater than CF or less than CF. Okay. And the frequency. And the frequency. You can actually use the upper class boundary class. But it's better actually if you use na lang the upper class boundary and less than ogive. Kuno. Let's have that one. You simply select upper class boundary and your less than CF. Okay? And then insert a line graph. That does not look promising. No, it's not like that. CF kag upper class boundary and your less than frequency. Insert the graph. This one. Okay. And this is better. Okay. This is now your class. So you start with 10, then this is the 16. So if you want that numbered, let's find something na may numbers. Usually, ang muna tsura sang ogive class mo. Diba? That angle. Then you can add data labels. So that's 16, 16, 19, 21, 24, 25. Okay? So, tapos ang iyang boundaries dayon na is so 500, 1,000, and so on and so forth. 3,000 since 2,995 na, di ba, ang data set, ha? Then, for the CF, greater than CF, so you can also have that one. So, pahigad tinidaan na yung CF. May panaog at least. So, that's the CF. And you can have your lower class boundary and CF. Okay. Then you can have insert recommended chart. One. On your greater than CF. Greater than CF. You can compare the two. Okay. Oops. So greater than CF, so you start with 25, you end with 1. Less than CF, you start with 10, you end with 25. Then you have your relative frequency distribution, and we have your histogram and relative frequency histogram. If you also want to create your relative frequency percentage class, then same moral mo na siyang histogram, simply use this one, ang RFP. Okay? So everything hinges with your frequency distribution table. So for your histogram, it uses your class and the frequency. Okay? Your relative frequency uses your class and your relative frequency. Your frequency polygon uses your class and the frequency, but it's a frequency polygon, so it's a line instead of a histogram. Or you can also use your class midpoint for this one class. Then for CF, you can have this one as greater than CF or greater than the CF. You can this one as your lower than the CF. Okay, and I'm low bat, so that's why may sound na na. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video, and of course let's see you on our consultation time.